Hello guys, to another episode of Gold Nugget Gang. So today we don't have Nick or Javier, so it's just me with our guests Ryan and Kang Jing. Right? How about you guys? Introduce yourself.
Ryan first name.
Okay,
Okay, well, I'm Ryan. I'm from Crimson Star Comics as well as MISG or Made in Singapore. I am primarily a comic book writer, though I have kind of found myself functioning as a bit of an editor and publisher in recent times.
Okay. How about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Kang Jing, or you can call me KJ for short. So I am a comic cover and sketch card artist based in Singapore. So I've been doing comics since 2019.
Wow, okay.
And some of my works are, of course, my own published stories, as well as recently I have done some sketch cards for Star Wars as well as Marvel, and also some comic covers for Power Rangers and Archie comics as well.
Oh, nice. I've seen I've seen most of them. So, yeah. Yours also, your comic books.
Oh, mine is mostly I've written Facebook posts about Star Wars and Power Rangers.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. So that's Carl Comics, and yours is Crimson Star. So give us a intro of both these two different comics, like the introduction, like how it started and when it started.
I think you should go first.
Alright, yeah. So I operate under the name of Cairo Comics.
Okay.
So I think I started using this name in 2021. But when I first started in 2019, it was Art of KJ. So that's pretty obvious because KJ and then Art of KJ. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Right, so afterwards, I decided to change to something nicer or something more differentiating, in a way.
Okay.
So Cairo Comics came about, and that is because I was actually a chemistry student in university.
Okay.
Right. So Cairo is actually a word from my chemistry studies as well. So I thought to put together in a way, the main job and my passion into something. So that's how Cairo Comics came about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's my Instagram handle, my social media handle, my website, and so on. So I usually operate it based on my own self-published stories. Right, I write and illustrate my own stories, and I publish it under this imprint of Cairo Comics.
Okay. So wait. So in real life, you are a chemist.
I studied chemistry, but not really doing chemistry right now.
Because when you say real life chemist now, so you are chemist. Okay. Then how about?
I like how it's just like in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
He puts on a chiral mask and
Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay, so mine is Crimson Star Comics. Actually, it's CS Comics, but the CS stands for Crimson Star, which is our flagship character. So I kind of ripped that off from how DC Comics does it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been that DC Comics is Detective Comics.
Yeah.
So with CS Comics, we've been around for quite some time. The first Crimson Star Ashcan came out in 2018. But prior to that, I've been doing comics since 2010, and I was an editor before that. But one of the bigger things that we do is this thing called MISG. So which stands for Made in Singapore, and it began as an event series which we are intermittently running since 2012. A bit more regularly since post-COVID lah. And the emphasis of MISG has just been to get the spotlight on local creators. So every Saturday of the month of August, for example, we hold a series of events in different locations. We try to kick off usually at Kalibak's Cave over at Queensway Shopping Centre. So this year, you guys also supported us and stuff. So it's becoming bigger every year, but I would say the aim is very similar to CS Comics, where it's about spotlighting locally based creators as well as locally based creations. Yeah, because usually one may not be the other, right? And we're trying to find a middle ground to spotlight both of them equally.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, usually one will overshine the other in a normal case, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's So to say something, right? I thought both of you guys were in the same scene in a way, in the same comic, for example, Churl or CS Comics. So now I know you all are two different entities.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I'm pretty sure you all have worked together, right? For different projects and stuff.
Yeah.
In fact,
the very first.
Yeah, my very first comic back in 2019 when I basically didn't have any body of work yet.
Okay.
I was just like putting out some like sketches of my own random art of maybe like DC or Marvel, and it's pretty bad, honestly speaking. But so I guess Ryan saw something in it, and then afterwards he reached out to me to like discuss a project that to work on Crimson Star. In fact, I think a short story on Crimson Star, and then those 10 pages of Crimson Star is basically my first interior pages that I ever did.
Okay.
It was actually also the first published like Crimson Star adventure, because the Ashcan prior to that didn't have Crimson Star himself. So I think that was 2019. But interestingly, I met him way prior to that because he lives near my NS reservist unit, which was at Boon Lay Police Station. So I used to buy comics from him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then one day on Facebook, I saw him like put up some art, and I was like, shit, this guy can draw. Okay. So the next conversation with him was, you want to do like I think when I first came, it was an 8-page story.
Yeah.
It kind of padded out, and then it became one of the anchor like stories in our first anthology, Singa Heroes, which was supposed to come out in 2020, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
It ended up finally reaching publication in like late 2021.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But eventually it came out.
Yeah, it did come out, but that was an interesting journey. But I think there's so many like local artists that we might be talking about today that were also in the book, like Colin, was also in there. Tasha, yeah. So it's really interesting. We've crossed over quite a few times since then as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, artists and writers. So what's the scene like in Singapore especially? Like when you all decide to come up something or have a project together, is there like a common group chat or something like that, or
I'm sure there are many group chats. Okay, so on my part, I'm a writer, right? Which in comic book terms makes me slightly less than useless. Right?
Okay.
Because if I go and tell someone I'm a comic writer, and these are actual conversations I've had, people are like, oh, so you're the guy who does the boom, the pow.
Okay.
I'm like, well, no, that's the lecturer, which I do sometimes do as well. Well, a comic writer is very much like a TV writer. You don't see the writer, you see the actors.
Yeah.
Right? It's difficult to explain that. And as I said, my first comic was in 2010. So it became a very quick objective that I wanted to work with local comic artists. And this was driven not just because I wanted to spotlight Singaporeans and stuff, but because I just wanted to be able to meet the artists I work with. I want to go meet them, have a coffee, talk, chit-chat. And that was very difficult to do with international artists.
Yeah.
Right? So it became a pattern of like, I meet these people, I get to know them, and chances are I have like a backlog of ideas, and at some point I'll be like, this person might be pretty cool for this project, right? And that's essentially what happened. So KJ was doing a lot of fan art, a lot of it was superhero stuff. I wouldn't say art was bad. It wasn't as polished as it is now.
Yeah, probably.
Right? But at the same time, there was a clear love for very traditional superhero storytelling. And I had a character whose adventures were set in the 80s. So I was like, this guy is doing all of his things traditional. I like that. There's this very nostalgic sense of the art, which I liked as well. So that's an example of how the process kickstarts for me.
Okay.
Right? I have something, I have ideas, I sketch them down, I write them down like maybe 2-3 lines. Sometimes it'll be a full script, very rarely. But most of the time, as I get to know the artist that I'm talking to, I'll be like, yeah, shit, I really like to work with you on something. Then I go back and then like dig through the text edits and stuff. And then I'll be like, I'll send them like maybe a 1-page or something, and I'll be like, okay, if you like it, let me know. If this is really not your thing, also let me know. I will find something. Yeah.
I mean, usually I think that's how screenwriters, writers in general get their gigs, right? I guess.
Yeah. It's just a bit different for us because I think a lot of the local comic artists, right, are actually very proficient writers as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what, you've done 3-4 books now?
Yeah, right.
And you are the writer and artist, right? So it's very easy, and even our like most iconic talents, right, like Johnny Lau from Mr. Kiasu and stuff, they are traditionally both writer and artist.
Oh, okay.
So the idea of a person who is just a comic writer, especially in Singapore, it's not new, but it's not as common as you would expect based on the global industry. Right. So that's a slight difference in how it works in Singapore, because most of our artists are very independent talents. And then occasionally you get me going up to them and be like, how? You want to draw somebody else's work?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's for you. How about for you?
For illustrators, I would say recent years we start to see a lot more illustrators, especially during like weekends. You will see conventions popping up.
Yeah.
So I mean, with all the Pokemon trade shows, there's a lot, but at the same time, we're also seeing a rise in artist ads,
yes,
right? Even during the trade shows or artist specific, like markets kind of thing. Right, so we start to see a lot, and a lot of them are actually getting younger and younger, which is a very good sign. But in terms of like, let's say, original content itself, I would say probably Singapore is still on the low side on that. Yeah, as compared to, because even though we see a lot of all these artist edits and so on, most of the artists are actually drawing fan art. I mean, myself included as well. Yeah. So when it comes to original content itself, is much lesser, and I think partly also because of the industry, comic industry in Singapore, or the lack of comic industry in Singapore as well. Okay. So and usually people tends to like gravitate towards recognizable IP. Right? If you put like, let's say, a character that I design and Superman at the side, then usually people will come out and say, oh, okay, this concept is pretty cool. Can I get a Superman?
Naturally because a lot of people know Superman, but not really,
So tends to gravitate towards that way. So while we see a lot of more younger people who are pursuing art, but maybe on the original content itself, it's still on the low side. Hopefully that will grow, but I also understand the challenges in it. Yeah. And that's why even till now, like 6 years into doing art, I'm still doing a mixture of both.
Okay.
Yeah, because ultimately I would say original content is really very challenging to push, but it's meaningful, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you find meaning into the stuff that you do, that's the important part of it. Right. I also got one question for Kang Jing. How do you manage to get the Star Wars gig and all those?
Yeah, so
I'm always intrigued by it.
Yeah, the Star Wars and the Marvel one was with Tops. So like all the Tops set I had, which I'm pretty sure you're very familiar with. Yeah, so I was like sending in my resumes to various companies. Right, in like cold calling and so on, to really put myself out there. I can't remember how long I have to wait, but one fine morning I received an email from Top saying that, okay, we like your work, and then we have this Star Wars project. Are you interested to take it up? And I'm like, of course, right? Like Star Wars. And like it's early in the morning, I was like waking up for work, and I'm like, is this like a scam? There's like a link that you have to click. Okay, honestly speaking, the email also sounds a little suspicious at the time. Then I'm like, okay, never mind, let's just try it. And when I clicked, I submitted it. I just waited. Then afterwards, they mailed me the box of cards that they want me to illustrate. Then I'm like, okay, then I go about doing it. And yeah, it's true. So that's how I got it. I mean, it's really like putting myself out there, like sending out my resume. And I guess they saw something that they like, and I think they really like it a lot, because right after the very first set, which was 2024 Chrome Star Wars, I think it's that,
Okay.
And then the next few sets came really quickly, like the Chrome Galaxy set, the Masterwork, the Hyperspace, the Galactic Antiquities and so on. Yeah, but most of them are one sketch card, so it's really, you draw on each individual piece and it's an original, and then we send it back to them, and then they just slot it into the various boxes. Which I think the ratio is very difficult to get.
Naturally, any 1 out of 1s are quite difficult to get. I'm glad I pulled a few, but it's still difficult to get because the ratios are, if I remember correctly, is
it's 1 to a few thousand, depending on whether it's like a hobby or correct.
So there's different ratios for different sizes of boxes that you get. So it's quite because I remember that time we opened at during the Star Wars event back in my shop. That was fun. And then we got like 2 sketches in 3 sketches in I think 7 boxes or something. In that 2-day event. Quite insane.
And I could hear like the screaming across the hall.
It was fun. It was fun. I mean, whenever you open up like those products that has 1 out of 1s, like your Tops, Chrome, either Marvel, sports, or like all the different IPs like Disney. Now Disney also have
SpongeBob is coming.
Yeah, SpongeBob. Yeah, that's a new thing. So even for Magic, there's one-on-ones now, right? Or even numbered ones, right? So it's quite insane. Like how different the TCG wise, the card scene wise, it's quite insane in terms of collector value. So like as illustrator, right? Have you ever done other than for tops and for all these big brands, right? Have you ever done like limited prints or limited artworks to showcase your talent?
I wouldn't say limited, more of unlimited. Usually I do, when I do like prints of fan art, usually it is unlimited print run. So I just print like a fixed set of number, and then if it sells well, then maybe reprint it. Until the moment that I no longer like that art, or if it's like okay, time to refresh it, then usually I move on to something else.
Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, he's one of the guys who did the 151.
Dragon Ball. I did Digimon, Studio Ghibli, as well as the One Piece. Yeah, how can I forget about it?
And also you did one for Barter Trade, the Pokemon and
Power Rangers. Yeah, that was a commission piece, and then
that was fun. That was nice as well. Yeah.
All the Power Rangers.
A lot of people gave me the idea.
Yeah, it's only 30 seasons, bro.
I'll think about it.
I mean, Archies also. I mean, you can slowly do all the Archies.
But the problem is nobody recognized beyond that. Like the main cast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So is there any other projects you all are doing currently, or anything that you all want to plug in?
Like together, I guess.
Together or separate entities.
Yeah, there's Saving of Glory.
Yep. Yeah. So
that was last. Was it? We started that last year, right?
No, this year.
Was it this year?
Yeah.
Okay, my timeline's
Okay.
We do have something in collaboration, but I don't think is it coming out this year?
I haven't have a fixed timeline. Like my timeline is just sliding.
Yeah.
But we already have the work done.
Yeah.
So it's Saving from Chloe was a web-based four comic panel strip that started in I think COVID time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was doing like webtoons and so on. Back then I think it was Facebook, Instagram and so on. So I was like posting weekly or bi-weekly kind of a comic strip. Like those all ages kind of a fun comic strip kind of thing. And then I've done about close to 200 of the strips, and I was like thinking about maybe compiling it into one edition and to have a full closure for the book itself. Yep. So Ryan helped me to edit the dialogues and everything inside, as well as wrote a few of these stories. Yeah. Okay. So we have that ready, except for a few pages, which it's just those filler pages and so on. And it's really on me to put it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like this, right? You think the hard part is the writing and the art.
Yeah.
And then once you got all of that in your hard drive, then it comes all the logistics.
Yeah.
And you realize that there's just so much inertia switching into that, and unlike art, which can be kind of like a process that takes time, like the writing and stuff, right? The logistics cannot, right? Because from the point of time you get a quote, maybe you've got 30 days to fulfill and then submit your product and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where the inertia becomes an issue. And like it's something that we encounter with almost every book we do. And we've been doing this for quite some time, and still it happens. So I think that's just like the reality of being, you're a one-man team essentially.
2 men now.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, Well, with all the other stuff, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So that's one of those things where sometimes like when people are like, hey, where's book 2?
Yeah. Wow, that's a question that I fear a lot nowadays.
Hey, book 2. Just another hardcover of 300 pages.
200. But it's still daunting.
But whenever you have a sequel to reach out, and when people already read up and wanting to know what's happening in the next one, usually it's the same that goes for your series, your movies and whatever. So I presume it's the same lah.
Yeah. Sometimes to deter people, I'm just like, don't worry about it. The next book he finds out that Darth Vader is his father. and they just stare at me and they decide, you know what, I don't talk to this guy.
Yeah, sometimes that works also.
Yeah.
So like for example, you were saying about comic strips, right? How long does it take to do one strip? Usually.
Comic strip is usually more. I would say the art is usually more simplified.
Okay.
Right. But how long?
Or is it like a variable?
Maybe a couple of hours for comic strip.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you are talking about like let's say a standard comic page, usually we do it on 11 by 17 inch paper. So that's about A3 size. That I think industry standard is usually you have to be able to pencil maybe 1 or 2 pages per day.
Wow.
Yeah, which so it's really a full-time job. But for myself, usually it is maybe like 3 days 1 page, or 2 days 1 page if I'm doing it fast enough. Yeah, because I still have to balance my day job and so on.
Yeah.
So it's quite challenging as well. So but it's a very tedious process because you take a long time to do the pencils and then you still have to do the inks. And after the inks, you still have to do the colors. So maybe like 1 day is just one portion of a particular page. Yeah, and while we take so long to complete one single page, usually people take maybe 5 seconds to glance through.
Yeah, I mean it really dependent on the individual and their experiences, right?
Yeah.
Then okay, so I know you also do some drawings. So do you do the same kind of
No. The only
practice?
the only drawings I do are just pure concept, which I then pass on to the artist, and then the artist laughs at me and then says, "Please don't draw." And then they proceed to make it look like actual art.
Okay.
Yeah, but no. Otherwise, I don't draw. I use programs and stuff to do like say my paneling structure, and that usually got more to do with is there a message I want to get across with that particular story. So I can share this now because Jen Foster recently announced that there's a short comic coming up which is co-written by me as well as one of the Jen Foster creators. So it's illustrated by Colin Yap and Pavitran Chalas. So with that, my approach to storytelling there was that I wanted this to feel like you could believe that this could be a storyboard for an actual TV show, right? Because it draws so much of those tokusatsu genre, which is meant to be a TV show, right? And they put in so much effort with the actual like physical costumes and stuff, and I wanted to do that justice, not just in terms of the art, which Colin and Pavit have knocked out of the park, but also in terms of the storytelling. So when planning the panels, I was very much a stickler on how I want certain things to be processed, which is not usually how I do things because I think it can be quite burdensome to the artist, and honestly it takes up a lot of my time as well because I'm not natively an artist, but it's an interesting process. So I use programs like Comic Life is one of the programs I use most often for lecturing as well. I use that. Structure out the panels, I send that to Colin, and then Colin responds and he'll be like, "Why there's so many panels on this page?" I'll be like, the final product will prove it. Yeah, but it's an interesting process because I am really not like artistically inclined.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of my first few years were finding these programs and that could kind of like make up for that lack in talent. And then after that, working with artists who could tolerate these random like, JPEGs flying through WhatsApp saying, this is how I want it to look. Yeah, and most of the time they'll be like, I kind of feel bad for this writer, he clearly don't know how to draw. Yeah.
Okay. Then, I mean, artists always draw their inspiration from something, right? So for you guys, what do you draw inspiration from? For your writing and for your drawing / writing? Because you do both.
Yeah. So I mean, it depends on projects usually, but let's say if it's for my own story that I've written and illustrated, I usually draw inspiration from my own background or maybe from my own experiences and so on. Right. So the recent, not really recent anymore because it's 2023, but yeah, my most recent graphic novel or comic book that I written and illustrated is called Zhao, which is don't say volume 1. Okay, but Zhao volume 1. Okay, and it's basically a story set in ancient China.
Okay.
Right, and how I drew inspiration from it is really based on firstly it's based on my surname in a way, right? So my surname in Chinese is called Zhao. Yeah, so which coincides with the title of the comic itself. Yeah, so then I trace it back to where Zhao was originally from. So it's actually the surname of the royalties back in the Song Dynasty. Right. So that was how I drew inspiration on find something to actually set the story upon.
Okay.
Right? So that story was really focused on that, and then of course I was also a very huge wuxia novel fan, obviously. Yeah, martial arts kind of stories. So that set the stage or the inspiration for the comic to be based on.
Okay. Yourself?
So for me, I guess I've always liked the idea of same but different.
Okay.
Right? And this started off because a lot of my favorite things were Elseworlds from DC and What If from Marvel. Right? And I like the idea of what if something was different, or what if the focus was on something else. And this was, of course, for a lot of us writers, fanfic. That's how we start. So I used to write a lot of fanfic. I had one of my first fanfics was based off Days of Future Past.
Okay.
But it was for Star Wars. So like Luke Skywalker goes back in time to prevent the death of Qui-Gon Jinn.
Wow, okay.
And the theory being that you prevent Darth Vader that way. Right? So like this was 1999, episode 1 just came out, I read Days of Future Past, and then mishmash. So a lot of my stories after that have been following the same thing. With Crimson Star, it was the idea of like, we are so normalized with superheroes, like on television and stuff.
Yeah.
And to the point where, if right now a superhero will pop up in the US, right, aside from all the things that happen in the US, I think it wouldn't be that unbelievable because we're so conditioned to it. So I was like, how would Singaporeans react? We can be quite apathetic. Even in face of progress, we are sometimes just like, if I need to change for something to be better, it's okay. You know? Yeah, so it was that, as well as one of my favorite themes, but never really dealt with in Superman comics, is the idea that if a journalist's role is to deliver the truth to people, how do you live a lie? Right? Because Superman is constantly lying to the audience. Right? And Mark Waid's Birthright touched that for like 2 panels, and I was hooked onto that idea. And this was 2004. And I was like, why is there no book of Superman that deals with the fact that he's living a lie, but his entire existence is about delivering the truth? So Crimson Star became a journalist because of that. And yeah, people will be like, oh, so you ripped off Superman. I'll be like, I ripped off Superman and Green Lantern because of the powers. So, but the idea here was same but different, right? Legionaries, which is probably our least Singaporean thing because it's based on Roman mythology and stuff, is essentially Roman mummies alive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I love Mummies Alive as a kid. It was easily my favorite cartoon on, I think, the Thursday 5 p.m. block or whatever.
Yeah, around there, if I remember.
But it wasn't a successful show. I think it was just 1 season and it died.
Yeah.
And that was something that haunted me for the rest of my life. So I was like, I want to do Mummies Alive. I want more Mummies Alive. And when I got contracted to develop a few animated concepts back in 2015, Legionaries came about, and a lot of my approach to creativity has been this: what is it that I really enjoyed as a kid? What about it did I enjoy? What about it do I miss? And how do I bring it to a new audience? So like Egyptian myth, very cool to me. I grew up in the era of Brendan Fraser's Mummy remake and stuff, but is that trending today? Right? Today everything's Greek mythology, Roman mythology. When I say today, I'm talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But so I was like, okay, so what if it was sold in that context? Right? What if it was set in California, a bit more of a recognizable US in today's point of view? And that was my approach to that. And I would say I have similar approaches as well as inspiration for a lot of things. Like, I don't really believe you can produce anything original anymore. Right?
Yeah.
Like even if you look at something 20 years ago, you can find something similar to it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not interested in trying to be original. What I want to do is just capture the magic, and hopefully there's like a another 11-year-old me out there who reads it and and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's some shit.
I mean it's always picking up something and then recreating it.
Yeah.
Most probably recreating it and then putting it out there just to get other people inspired or interested in the thing that we do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole motive of being a creative.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So now we already know how you drew your inspirations and everything. So what do you do? You guys do for your like hobbies, like like do you like so for me I collect stuff and everything. So do you have a collection or do you just read comic books or watch shows or something like that? Or do you have a collection?
Yeah, I have a collection.
He has a lot.
Okay, so like a point when I realized that maybe I had to stop with single collecting, like single issues monthly collecting. I had like a pull list of close to 50 titles a month.
Wow. Okay.
Right. It reached a point where I had to get rid of my bed. So I had my mattress. I stacked up all my comics. And I read my comics are not for sale. I read them. I read the singles. I pick them up. I read them in the train back home, and then I read them again. So they're never in great condition. So they're bagged and boarded. Stack them all up neatly, and every night I put my mattress back on those to sleep. Thank God somebody came out storage beds after that. So yes, I do have quite a bit of collection. Quite recently, my friends and I were trying to like put up all my Marvel Legends Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
So we emptied out my entire like TV cabinet and shelves and stuff, and then finished. And my friend looked at me and he's like, "No, we've got a problem." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "That's 2/3 of it." Yeah, so I think we met. I think it was close to 200 Spider-Man and Spider-Man related figures.
Okay.
And that's just my Spider-Man. That's not my SHF, my Power Ranger, my Star Wars. Yeah, so comics single collecting. I took the opportunity of New 52 to jump out of collecting singles. I did have some stray titles, Buffy, Angel, some like Superman stuff mostly, Green Lantern also. But toys have been my bigger vice for the last few years. Also largely because like kind of discovered that I could afford to go to Japan, and then that was just Mecca there, right? Like you go there and like, oh my god, $80 SHFs are like $30 here.
Yeah, that's what happened when you explore Japan, and that's it.
Yeah, we do like 3 days in Akiba when we go over. So like one of the first days is Akiba. Somewhere in the middle we go again for like price check other than Mandara case. And then the second last day we go one more time for the make sure there's no regrets. It's like I thought maybe I don't need this, and I go back there and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say bye to you for at least a year. How am I feeling about this? And then you buy it anyway.
Yeah, naturally you will still buy it.
Yeah. The very first time my wife and I and like two of our friends went to Japan in 2019, we sorely underestimated how much we buy. We ended up having to like literally put them in a big plastic bag that the airport staff gave us, and then we had to check it in as a like irregular size thing. Yeah, that was
That's something.
That's something lah.
That's something.
Yeah, so my collection is a bit of a problem.
Okay, I mean, if you have it, it's not really a problem because you have it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how to display it and how to.
And I guess I don't feel bad because I never buy things intending to sell, intending to appreciate. So I'm perfectly fine. I throw away almost all my boxes, unless like it comes with a lot of gadgets like SHF. But also I'm not too bad. My wife collects hot toys, so I'm actually not that bad. Yeah. She's gonna watch this and be like.
How about yourself? What do you collect?
I collect mainly comics. Right, so comics is like my first love in a way.
Okay.
Right, so when I was young, I collect a lot of manga, but as I grew up, I collect more towards the comics. Right, so comics in terms of the hardcover comics. So I did go for hardcovers actually because it looks very nice on the shelf. But the bulk of my hardcovers, I would say maybe 60-70%. I'm not even opened yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's really like, okay, I like this, I buy it, I will read it someday, but it's gonna be sitting on the shelf for maybe a few years before that happens. Right. And other than that, I collect a lot of graded comics as well. So it's pretty much like
comic centric.
Yeah, and graded comics is pretty much like graded Pokemon cards as well. Right away, but it's CGC comics. Yeah, so it's more of like the like maybe comics from the 1960s, 1970s. So it's pretty cool to just have that. But I don't even display it. I just buy and keep it somewhere, and I don't know why I buy it, but I just like to collect.
That's the thing about collecting. You buy stuff just to collect.
That's right. I ever once dabbled into collecting Pokemon cards, but sort of stopped. So I was like, back then I was like collecting Pikachu PSA cards. And I'm like, okay, this is getting way out of hand. Okay, time to sell it all. Okay, I sold it all and then I never got back in. But recently I'm like looking on Carousel for One Piece cards because I did the One Piece artwork. And I completed all the manga up to date so far. Then I'm like, wow, okay, this is pretty nice. Okay, but okay, I'm still managing to hold it back for now, but let's see how it goes.
I mean, just coming from the TCG side of the world, One Piece, the market is going down, so it's a good time to buy it.
That's what I heard.
It's a good time.
But even the price is still pretty scary at times.
For certain cards, yes, especially for Luffy and stuff. But generally, the prices are down. It's a downward trend. But from what I'm hearing, One Piece is going to end in 2027. That's what I'm hearing. So
that's a pretty short time later.
Yeah. So after that, usually I think things will go up again. So if you have stuff, if you don't need, just keep it.
I mean, look around.
Yeah. So okay. So we have spoken a few stuff, right? Any future projects like you're planning to do any future projects for your site or team up or future shows?
Chow Volume 2. Okay, so we may have Singer Heroes Volume 2 this year. That was the anthology I mentioned earlier. There are some chapters from Save Me From Chloe which have already been published that will be a part of that. But what's really exciting for me about this particular Singer Heroes is that there will be a total of 6 stories in there, or rather 6 titles, right? And each of them are from a different IP, from collaborators. So it's tentatively being called Launchpad because each of these IPs are either already part of a series like Save Me From Chloe, or they are meant to launch something new. So Gen Foster, for example, I don't exactly know what's the Gen Foster plan there. I'm only co-writing this, but they've got so much exciting stuff coming up. Crystal Blue, which the issue number 0 will be dropping this Saturday at Colourbox Game, right? Is also part of the Singer Heroes. And there's also Saka, which by Ross Monday. So this one's like one of those things where basically across the year I went to like different creators I worked with, and I feel like they've got things that kind of suits the theme. The theme being superhero stories set in a Singaporean landscape with the additional twist of like this is meant to launch something new, right, or launch something bigger. And I just went to them and was like, hey, you want to be a part of this or not? And I've been lucky enough for everyone to say yes lah. Yeah, there's been no like stay away from me and my family so far. So that's probably the big thing that will like round out my year. A lot of small things in between, like the individual publications of Adventures of Crimson Star. Then we got Crystal Blue this week and Gen Foster in a couple of months. So a lot of these things were paced across the year, but Singer Heroes 1 and 2 will probably be the main thing. The thing that after it's out, I can be like, okay, I'm actually sleeping for 8 hours today.
Okay. How about yourself?
For myself, it's really preparing for the year-end shows.
Okay.
Right, so I have a few shows coming up, which is locally will be Singapore Comic Con, that's definitely one, and Singapore Card Show. So I missed the 2 card shows earlier this year, but I wanted to try going to a trade show of a TCG, right, to see how it's actually like, how's the market like, and so on. So these 2 are the main shows, and I might have a 3rd show, but that's pending confirmation and so on. So besides that, I'm also working on a couple of projects, which I can't disclose at the moment, but exciting stuff, I would say. But so from now till then, it's really a lot of gearing up to churn out new art, new projects, and preparing for the year-end show. So it's going to be an exciting year.
Nice. I'll see you for both shows.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Are you going for the shows?
I'll definitely be there. But for the first time in 3 years, I'm going to be able to walk around.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm actually your table is the only one that I visited constantly across 3 years. Yeah, largely because we are working together, I got stuff to pass or collect. But yeah, it's one of those things where on a Friday I do a quick walk when drinks set up, and I'm like, shit, I'm going to check this out. I'm going to buy there. I'm going to be so broke by Sunday. And then the next thing I know, it's Sunday 7:30 p.m. and I'm like, oh,
they are closed or
Yeah,
they left.
yeah. So this year's different. I will be broke by the end of the day.
Yeah, come by my shop also.
Yeah, yours is dangerous. Yeah, because yours doesn't end there. It starts something new, right?
No, mine is a bit of everything. So especially for this year, for the December shows, we have comic books, we have the cards, right? Seal products, and so basically we have a bit of everything. We are planning to bring in some bear bricks and stuff like that. So anything that's collectible. So that's the thing lah. So yeah, come by.
Yeah,
You can see.
That sounded more like a threat. Come by.
You'll see. Yeah. So I think it was nice talking to you guys. Introduction and everything. So y'all got any final thoughts on this? The whole podcast and what you guys gonna do and everything.
I mean, on the podcast, I learned about this podcast quite recently through you.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a very interesting effort, and it's pretty cool that you are starting to see a lot more local brands use themselves as platforms for other local brands. Right. That's something we try to do, but I guess we're a bit more like low key. So it's cool that I'm starting to see like this becoming a thing, and it's quite similar to what we do, but cross media because comic artist, comic writer. So obviously we did comics together. Yeah, but also especially now with like TCGs retrending, I think this is like maybe a new all-time high. With what's happening in cards, right? It's cool that in a way there's like card platforms featuring comics and toys and all that stuff. Yeah, and other than that, come down to Queensway.
Queensway and also Gold Nugget.
The outside the building looked a bit scary, but inside it's fine.
Inside fine.
Yeah, just come straight out to the third floor.
Alright. So this will close up here for this episode.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.